Hi, this weekend I watched New York, New York, Martin Scorsese's 1977 epic starring Robert De Niro and Liza Minnelli. It's the story set post-war of two musical professionals. Jimmy Doyle is a very talented jazz saxophonist, whilst Francine Evans is a talented singer, both of them just out of the army, and they meet on VJ night, where he unsuccessfully but persistently tries to chat her up. Their friends of theirs get together and they wind up being thrown together by circumstance. He has to drag her along to an audition the following day, and when she tries to save the situation in his favour, they wind up being partnered as a boy and girl act and go on to great success. Eventually, he persuades her to marry him, and their relationship degenerates further as they become increasingly successful. On Wikipedia, the film is billed as a musical romantic comedy. And although there are a few moments of humour during the movie, they stem from a very dark, bitter place. It's not a comedy, really. And as one of the other viewers I was watching it with mentioned, it's barely even romantic because Doyle is such a virulently hateful narcissist um, that their relationship is completely one-sided. He sees Francine only as someone he can control, he can exploit, he can use to further himself. And over time, she becomes more and more crushed by uh, his ambition and his personality and falling into line with what he wants. Eventually, she becomes pregnant, and although their child is born and is, to their surprise, under the circumstances, actually very healthy, he walks out on them and doesn't see them for years, in which time she has built herself up to be an enormous success, leading to the climax in which, returning to New York after her success in Hollywood, she performs to a sold out crowd. The climax in which she performs a song that she has written um, with some input from Jimmy years earlier, the title song, New York, New York. It was actually written for this film in 1977. You'd think that the song was a lot older, but no, it's actually only that old. But the final number is very much Liza performing as herself in her recognizable outfit with satin leggings that seem very out of place in what would by then be the early 1950s. Um, and this shows the weakness of the film, that there's no focus, there's no strong structure. Scorsese had the idea of combining the musical dramas that he was growing up with a modern, more improvisational sensibility. But this hybridization doesn't really work. It means that you have mumbled, rambling conversations going on in front of very elaborate, very artificial looking sets. And although some of the set design is quite startling, there's a nightclub set which is bathed in red, apart from the bar area at the back, which is bathed in green. It's very startling and visually quite exciting. But the story is quite flat. Jimmy is such an unpleasant person, so obnoxious, and so instantly dislikable. His constant pestering of Francine in their first scene together when he's trying to get her phone number out of her just makes him look like a predator. And this never it never comes off this stain. Um, Liza Minnelli is a capable actor, but she seems ill at ease in the more improvisational tone that Scorsese is going for. It's also wildly overlong. The version that I saw is the extended version, which runs 2 hours and 43 minutes. There's a 12-minute sequence. That's a condensed version of Francine's big Hollywood movie, and that doesn't need to be in there at all. The film could easily lose at least 20 minutes and not detract at all from its content. It just feels like something sloppy, overblown, completely undisciplined, and a grand folly. And it was the first big failure of Scorsese's career. The film was a critical, well, received very mutely, but was a box office failure. Although fortunately, United Artists was able to make its money back the same year on a very low budget movie it didn't expect to make any money at all, which was Rocky. Um, so I've never been a huge fan of Scorsese's. I feel that his work is often very overrated because he's so mired in movies. He's so mired in things that movie fans, apologize for the background noise, films that movie fans find very engaging, but I don't. I found that his most interesting films are his lesser ones, like After Hours or The Last Temptation of Christ, which look at things in a very fresh, different perspective rather than regurgitating things that we already know. Raging Bull, in particular, supposedly his greatest film and the greatest film of the 1980s, I find interminably boring and pointless. Um, this film really serves to underline what I feel a lot about Scorsese's movies, which is that they are undisciplined, uninteresting, constant um, regurgitation of the same themes over and over and over again, of guilt, of the twin tensions of family and career. These are not wildly interesting, and he failed to do anything that interesting here. Um, it has moments of visual excitement. It has moments of humor. There are a couple of moments that are funny, but it's almost in spite of the film rather than because of it. And the result is something that felt like an effort to get through.